Here is a complete inland Alaska road trip start to finish, the one you drive yourself in about a week. Glaciers you walk on, the tallest mountain in North America, and the Northern Lights. An Alaska cruise gives you the coast and the inside passage. This is the other half the interior, by car, and it pairs perfectly before or after a sailing. So here is the whole route, day by day, where to fly in, what to see by car and by plane, and the one thing you have to book before you go. We'll start with one thing to know before you book because it shapes the whole trip. The only road into Denali National Park has been half closed since a landslide hit it in 2021. And for all of 2026, the park buses turn around at mile 43. The famous deep viewpoints, Eielson and Wonder Lake, stay off limits by road until a new bridge opens, which is not expected until 2027. So 2 rules. Book your Denali bus the moment seats open, usually the previous November, because they sell out. And plan to see the mountain from the air instead, which is exactly what day 3 of this trip is for. Day 1. Land in Anchorage and drive Turnagain Arm. It starts in Anchorage, the one airport you fly into. Almost half the state lives here. The highways all begin here, and within 20 minutes, you can be on one of the most beautiful roads in the country. Pick up the car and head south on the Seward Highway, pinned between sheer cliffs and a narrow arm of the sea called Turnagain Arm. Time it right, and you can watch a wall of tide rush back up the inlet, or catch the whitebacks of beluga whales feeding below the road, with doll sheep on the rock above. Stop at the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center to stand a fence away from brown bears and moose. Then turn back toward the city as the light goes gold. Spend the first night in Anchorage, or just south in Girdwood, where a gondola lifts you out of the rainforest to glacier views. One day in, and the whole interior is waiting north of you. Day 2. Walk on the Matanuska Glacier. Day 2, point the car the other way, east out of Anchorage on the Glen Highway. About 2 hours in, a frozen river fills the whole valley ahead of you. This is the Matanuska Glacier, 4 miles wide and 27 miles long, ancient ice grinding down out of the Chugach Mountains, and one of the only glaciers in Alaska you can drive straight up to and walk onto. You park, meet a guide, strap spikes onto your boots, and step out onto the ice, past cracks of deep blue and pools of meltwater so clear they look painted on. No climbing or helicopter, just good boots and a guide who knows the safe line. Most people never stand on a glacier in their lives. Here, you do it before lunch. Sleep near Palmer in the green farm valley below the peaks, and get ready to turn north. Day 3. Talkeetna and the flight onto Denali. Now you turn north on the park's highway, the road that runs up the spine of the state, and stop in Talkeetna, a tiny, scruffy, wonderful frontier town of log cabins, climbers, and bush pilots, the kind of place that supposedly inspired a whole television show. This is where you trade the car for a plane, and this year that matters more than ever. With the park road closed halfway in, a bush flight is the closest you can get to the top of Denali. A pilot flies you straight at the mountain, threading between peaks until ice fills every window. Then, if the weather allows, lands you on a glacier near the summit. Skis touch down on snow at 6,000 feet. The engine cuts, and you step out into total silence, on ice older than recorded history. It is the most expensive hour of the trip, and the one nobody ever regrets. Back down, walk Talkeetna's single main street, eat well, and sleep close. Days 4 to 5, Denali National Park. A couple of hours further north, you reach the reason the highway exists. Denali, 20,300 feet, the tallest mountain in North America, so massive it builds its own weather and vanishes into its own clouds most days. Only about 1 visitor in 3 ever sees the full summit, So when it breaks out, clean strangers pull over and just stare. Drive your own car to mile 15 at the Savage River. Then leave it and ride the transit bus out to mile 43, the farthest the road runs this year. That stretch crosses Sable Pass, the densest grizzly country in the park. So you watch from the window as bears flip rocks for food and caribou drift over tundra that turns deep red and gold in autumn. Get off, hike out into trailless country where you need no permit, and feel how completely the land swallows you. This is the emptiness people picture when they picture Alaska. Sleep just outside the gate, then make the final push north. Days 6 to 7, Fairbanks and the Northern Lights. The last leg runs to Fairbanks, and you save it for after dark. This is one of the finest places on the planet to see the Northern Lights, sitting directly under the band where the aurora burns brightest, and the timing right now is rare. The sun is in the most active stretch of its 11-year cycle, lighting the sky in a way it has not in years. Drive an hour out of town to Chena Hot Springs, lower yourself into a steaming natural pool in the freezing dark, and wait. When it comes, the whole sky moves, green and violet curtains rolling overhead while you sit chest-deep in hot water and forget how to speak. Sleep in a glass-roofed dome out on the tundra, built so the lights can wake you without ever leaving the bed. Then drive back to Fairbanks and fly home from there, with no need to backtrack. You flew into one city, drove a single road north, and saw the half of Alaska that hides inland. That is the whole route. One airport in, a road north, a glacier, a mountain, and a sky full of moving light, with a single bush flight in the middle. See the coast by ship, then drive the interior like this, and you have seen the whole state. Now, tell me, are you flying into Anchorage for this one? Or is there a stop further north you would add?